Okay, am I recording? Yes, I think so. How's everybody doing today? Today is another sewing machine video. Kind of boring for some, I know. We're going to be discussing the Singer 1591. Matter of fact, I have two of them set up down here. This one's one of mine. I've used it before. I got it in, cleaned it up, oiled it up, and got it going good. Been sewing some with it. We're going to talk about stuff we can sew. Now, I sew a lot. During the winter when it's cold now at my age, I don't want to be outside. I like doing wool quilts. There's a lap quilt I just finished. There. That one, it's not finished. I got to put a back on it and stuff. There's one I did a while ago that I've got. Oh, sorry. I hope I didn't make anybody sick. That I've got to put a back, and my wife does my bindings because I can't stand that. Now, I do a lot of these things. I'm going to explain that today too. There's a reason why I do those. Let's see. Let's use the other machine. That's the one I use all the time. That's my go-to right there. That machine has pounded. It's sewed many materials. But when I'm making quilts, the proper way to do things is to lift your presser foot, pull your fabric out, and cut your piece off. But I don't like doing that. So if I'm making quilt blocks, I keep all my trash pieces of quilt. That's what this bag is right here. Trimmings, small pieces that don't make squares. I hope I'm getting all this. And what I do, I just grab two pieces of, I used to use just one and keep running it through. Now, this will be a little hard with one hand, but we can manage it. And it's going to be harder if I don't put my glasses on because I can't see well enough to do this without glasses. And I just run this little piece through. And that gets my square that I'm working on out from under there. So I can move on to the next stitch on it, or if it's done or whatever, and I don't waste thread. As you can see, if you pull it to get it out, you clip off quite a bit of thread, but if you do this, you clip it right here. Well, I used to use just one, keep running the same one through. Well, then I got to the point where I do this and I just grab a pair of shears and this way, trim it that way, sew another one on that way, and you know what, you do it long enough, you got a quilt. So that's how I do those. That's a thread guide right there. Hey, or a fabric guide. I said it wrong. It keeps your fabric, so you're straight with it. There's different ones you can get. You can get magnetic ones. Hell, you can make one. And there's 2 screws in your machine on a Singer, and I'm sure others. I can only discuss old Singers because that's all I ever do much with is old Singers. I don't use the bobbin winders. I have a bobbin winder. That one there is loose. I don't bother with it. I wind like 30 bobbins at a time of thread. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the machine. There's 3 major issues you're going to have with a 15 class sewing machine, 1591. Number 1 is tension. If your thread bunches up on the bottom stitch, right there, it's too loose. If your material starts to do this behind the presser foot, it's too tight. That's all there is to it. You get it tight enough to break thread. That's the number 1 problem people have. Number 2, if you change the bobbin down in here, let's see if we can get some light down in there. That is the bobbin case right there. You'll know how it comes out if you get one. I don't need to take it out or anything. I won't try to keep this short. And you put it back in, and you start having problems. There's several things that could happen. Actually, we will take it out because I'm trying to work one-handed. Is there one right out here? No, of course not. Oh, wait, I got one right here. I thought I did. Yeah, right there. This is a spare 15 bobbin case. This arm right here, if you change a spool and you get your thread on this side, it's going to jam, it's going to break the thread, it's going to bind up, you're going to have to cut it off. You're going to think the machine's blown up, and it's not, it's just thread jammed. When you get it out of there, you want to really be careful and make sure that you get any little pieces of the broken top thread that's in there, because you'll have another thread jam, and that it's nothing serious, but it really makes a mess of what you're trying to sew. It won't sew. That's the second problem. The third problem is changing the needle. The flat side of the needle goes this way. There's a little groove down them. If you take your fingernail, you can feel it right there. It's on this side on a 15. If you get it on this side, it's going to make 2-3 stitches, going to break. Going to make 2-3 stitches, going to break. Second thing people do, it's not a major problem, but a lot of people think it is, they thread the needle the wrong way. A 15 thread comes through from this way on the needle. If you go this way, it's going to break. A rule of thumb, your last guide as you're threading a machine will be the direction it goes through the needle. Just something to keep in your mind. That's about it for issues you're going to have once a 15's cleaned up, tuned up, and running. Oil it once in a while. Oh, another thing, if your needle gets dull, it'll start to thump, 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 thump when you run it. Change your needle. Another thing, if it starts to thump a lot and make a lot of noise, take this plate off right here. See, I keep those loose enough so I can turn them by hand. Take these 2 screws out, which I do not tighten, and clean the lint out. Get it all out of around the pressure foot. They make little brushes that work really good at that. That's it. I rarely use the lights, but I put it on this one for filming purposes. I use a light like this up here. Now we'll talk a little bit about what a 15 will sew. This is heavy canvas. This is a bag I made to clip on your belt. I made it in a hurry to go out and pick butternuts up. It's not even one I use all the time. I made it for that purpose, and it just goes on your belt and you can carry it. You make those. There's canvas again. You see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 layers of canvas sewed there. Not a problem. Sews right through. I do a hammer with a snap. This is made to carry a tablet in a backpack so you don't scratch it up. That's canvas. And canvas on the inside with batting for a quilt. So it's like quilted. I didn't tie it or anything. That's canvas there. My wife made me that one with a zipper. I don't do zippers. That heavy of canvas, not an issue there. Now it doesn't say just what that is, but it's pretty heavy canvas. This leather here, it will do that. You're going to want to use better thread and get the correct needle. The hole in your needle is going to have to be a lot bigger. It's probably going to have to be a bigger needle. It will do that suede type leather. This kind of leather here, nah, you better get an old 29 or quite a big industrial machine. That's asking a lot. It's not going to do it. You're going to break needles. I just think you're going to break needles. I don't know if the pressure foot, if it gets very high, you might put a walking foot on and get a ways with it. But you're better off to either, if you got to sew that with a machine, to get a leather machine or do it by hand. Okay, if you've stayed with this video long enough, and you are the first person in the comments, leave me a comment. If you're the first one, if you see it's there already, you know you've been beat. And we will get together and I will send you that quilt. Because if you've stayed here this long on a sewing machine video, you're a real interested in sewing machines, or you're a great subscriber. You all have a wonderful day, and thank you very much for watching.